All right, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everyone. It's Dr. E. Today's date is November 20th, 2022. And if you listen to the sound of my voice, that means you were blessed to see another day. And for that, all praise, honor, and glory is due to the Most High God of Israel, for now and forever. All right, we got a lot of new subscribers. Again, I want to say welcome everybody. Please don't be no strangers. We got to keep it moving, liking the videos and clicking on them. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and hit up the notification bell and select all, so you'll be notified every time I upload a new presentation. And again, thank you all for commenting and liking the videos. That all helps in the viewership. Today's another day. I'm blessed and thankful to see it. One of my commitments, when I recommitted myself to the channel, was that I was going to include a lot of really not talked about, not given much recognition, Black history and things concerning us and our people that really gets talked about, or that no one really even knows about. So many of those stories out there, and I've been doing my part to try to bring them forth. But again, when I make these presentations, you all got to hit it up, man. Y'all got to view the videos, like them and comment, because that's what we have to do our thing with the algorithm, right? Everything is all algorithm, that's what they say. So, but either way, so I'm gonna keep it kind of light, because, I'm from the South. Everybody know I'm very vocal about, my era, 54, about to be 55 years old. And a lot of cats from the South, from my age group and my era, even the ones a little young, we have a deep affinity for old school cars, especially Cadillacs, right? To this day, Cadillac has maintained its value and it's not just Black people. Because even a lot of white people really like Cadillac, but specifically for us, and I'm gonna get into why even to this day, Black people consider Cadillac. We hold it in high regards to have one. And as for me, my first Cadillac was I think it was a 1979 Cadillac Fleetwood Brougham, metallic blue. Boy, you couldn't tell me nothing, man. Especially out there on the West Coast, man. You them old school lacks, man. Them 70s and them 80s, man. You put something on it, them Vogues. We call them mustard and mayonnaise out on the West Coast. But those Vogue tires were made specifically for Cadillacs. A lot of people don't know that. Because I see Vogues on other cars, and I just kind of shake my head. It's whatever. But I know, especially as a self-professed Cadillac man, that Vogue's tires were made specifically and especially for Cadillacs, right? So yeah, even to this day, and one of the reasons why, and I'm pretty sure a lot of you, especially you younger brothers and sisters, don't know this, but back in the day, Cadillac would not sell their cars to Black people. They wouldn't. You had the heavyweight champion of the world, the first Black one, Joe Louis. Now I don't know if he was the first Black or it was Jack Johnson. So don't quote me on that. I think it was Joe Louis. I think Joe was the first Black heavyweight champion. But either way, don't quote me on that though. Someone can correct me in the comments. Either way, Joe Louis had to get his manager to buy him his Cadillacs, right? And so, because they wouldn't sell to a Black person, not even him. That's how it was back in the 1930s. So as a people, we kind of like we attracted things that we can't have. It's like it makes it more desirable, I guess. Mentally or whatever. Because what's true. And what's real is that Blacks have a lot of economic power, in this country. We do. It's just that we don't use that power collectively. They're talking about canceling our people. We can cancel them. Like, seriously, like, we have a lot of economic power collectively, because there's strength in numbers. Individually we may not have a lot of wealth, but collectively, black people, believe it or not, are very economically powerful. We just don't use it to our advantage, use it in the right way. But this lesson today, I wanted to bring forth, because I've known about it for a while, obviously being like I said, a self-professed Cadillac enthusiast. But yeah, Cadillac would not sell their cars to a black person. And I remember back in the day, I would hear older black cats said that the Cadillac was a black man's Mercedes. Still stuff like that. We always, bringing up something, give something a name. I mean, but it is what it is. So let's go ahead and get into this story about the man that they credit to, quote unquote, saving Cadillac, when it wasn't the man. It wasn't this German guy, not at all. He brought it to Cadillac's attention, but it was actually black people that literally saved Cadillac from going under. But of course you wouldn't know that, right? Right. Anyway, let's get into it. Okay. And the credit for this article goes to looks like someone's named Steve, June 16th, 2021, from the Indie Auto Past, Present, and Future blog. So shout out to Steve. But it goes on to say that according to Ed Craig's 1980 Chrome Colossus, in 1932, Cadillac basically was in danger of being discontinued or going out of business when a young service manager named Nicholas Dreystadt, he was a German cat, let me say it again, Nicholas Dreystadt, I like that, crashed a General Motors executive committee meeting to offer an idea. See, what happened was Dreystadt had noticed that a large number of Cadillacs owned by African Americans were brought in for servicing, even though the corporate policy was to not sell to them their cars. So he proposed that Cadillac could boost sales by cultivating African American buyers. What do you know? Back in 1930, someone had the bright idea that black people's money is green too. What do you know? How about that? So Maybra Holyfield, 2019, noted that these African Americans were boxers. I mentioned Joe Louis, entertainers, lawyers, doctors, and ministers who had been willing to pay white men $300 to purchase the cars for them. Can you imagine that? You got to pay somebody to buy a car for you. That is crazy. So anyway, it says the executive committee gave Dreystadt 18 months to show what he could do. His efforts proved so successful that the Cadillac division was soon breaking even by 1940 and had seen a tenfold increase in sales, according to Cray. Packard, which then dominated the luxury field, continued to reserve for itself, quote, old money, landed gentry, Cray delicately wrote. Thus Packard went under. Well, Cadillac prospered as America's status symbol. So did doing the right thing drive Cadillac sales growth? And truthfully, why this is even a question is beyond me. I mean, because clearly it did. They targeted disenfranchised people they didn't think much about, but when it was all said and done, our money was green too. How about that? But Cray was right that Cadillac showed a big improvement in production during Dreystadt's tenure heading Cadillac. See, according to the Encyclopedia of American Cars, 1993, production of the Cadillac and its lower-priced companion brand, LaSalle, increased from under 6,700 units in 1933 to over 66,000 in 1941, which was an almost tenfold increase. On behalf of all my people, back then and now, Cadillac, you're welcome. Back to the article. That said, Cadillac's improvement in market share wasn't all that different from Lincoln's through most of the 1930s. And it says another way to look at production data is to compare how Cadillac recovered from the Great Depression compared to General Motors and the U.S. auto industry as a whole. Cadillac and cell production fell off much more sharply in 1933 and started to inch up in 1934 before roaring back over the next 3 years. Then, from 1937 onward, Cadillac tracked fairly closely with both General Motors and the rest of the industry. What it says Megan Kathleen Monahan suggested that the purchase of Cadillacs by African Americans, quote, signified not only wealth and economic stature, but also a personal victory against racism, where the public act of driving one's automobile placed one on the same social level as white Americans. And there you go. And to this day, even to this day, it might not have the same concept, but blacks still consider Cadillac a luxury vehicle and something nice to have to this day. And it wasn't just about the stature. Driving While Black author Gretchen Soren noted that large cars such as Cadillacs and Buicks were also preferred as a response to the challenges African Americans faced while driving long distances, and not only in the South, because they might not find restaurants where they were allowed to eat or motels to stay at overnight. Their car needed to be big enough to sleep in and carry essentials such as food. Wow, I just learned that. That just kind of makes sense though. Wow. It says Soren debunked the stereotype that today African Americans own a disproportionate number of Cadillacs. She said they do so in the same proportion as white Americans. Yeah, I would probably agree with that to an extent because white people still, I see a lot of white people driving Cadillacs or whatever. But anyway, that's the end of the article. But I wanted to say, um, I'm sure many of you never even knew that or never knew that basically, our people saved Cadillac from going out of business. But of course, again, you would know that because we never got a thank you. We never got an ad placed in a newspaper. We never got no college scholarships. I mean, they didn't put any money into any communities that I know of. I mean, just nothing. I mean, and it's kind of like it's one of those things where it's like, I don't know if any of you have seen that movie, something that the Lord made, and it was about that brother who was doing open heart surgery and never went to school, wasn't no doctor or nothing. He was just going there, and the brother Mos Def played the lead character of the brother that was doing the open heart surgery, and the white doctor used him all those years, and basically till he got old, and he was too old to go to college or go to medical school or whatever. But he ended up getting his props. But he did that. He was able to go in there. I mean, could you imagine that doing surgery on people's hearts and never went to school for it? That's all God. But when this white doctor was getting all the accolades, the brother had to go in go in undercover as a waiter to even view the awards because they wouldn't let him in. He was invisible to the world, but the white doctor got all the benefits of his talent, man. I mean, and there's so many stories like that. Like I said, I want to bring attention to them. That's what I'm doing now, and that's what I'm doing here with Cadillac. 'Cause I'm pretty sure y'all probably look at a Cadillac differently now. You know what I'm saying? Knowing what you know from this presentation, and that's my thing. Mission accomplished. So anyway, like I said, for all of my ancestors, past and present Cadillac, you're welcome. Okay, you are welcome because they're nice cars. I'm always gonna be a Cadillac man. I just damn, I love them. And I will continue to drive them. But I just want to share that with you all. I hope you all got something from it. So until next time, this is Dr. E signing off saying Shalom, elect.